That's one of the most valuable pieces of coaching. I mean, that's one of the top things that I look for is, does this coach help me apply what it is we've talked about? Like you had great ideas that helped me grow my business. But then the next conversation was, okay, so what have you done? Right? We didn't move on to the next big idea, but what have you done with this idea? It reminds me of when I took guitar lessons for a very long time. And I was very young when I took them, and I was not disciplined with it, but I did go every week. And it wasn't the teacher's fault. It was more so my fault for not having a plan and clarity, like you mentioned. But we would learn a new thing every week. But you can't possibly, you can, but I wasn't learning a new song every single week, right? I was learning like the first riff of it, but then the next lesson we would move on to the next song and the next song. So I ended up having this catalog of unfinished products, of unfinished songs. But a great coach would work on that same song until that song was finished, right? And if it was taking longer than it should for that song to be finished, for that project to be finished, whatever it is, then a great coach says, okay, let's put different systems in place, different self-care routines, even habits like what you mentioned in place that can help you. So you're getting to where you want to be in the best amount of time possible. And like the thing is with what you mentioned about mentorship is some people are thinking to themselves, I'm sure, well, I don't really have anyone I can look to right now who can be my mentor. And that was my case. I did have someone who I mentioned to you a long time ago, Keith, who took me under his wing. He helped me focus on my fitness. And like what you said, focusing on my health and my fitness was the first domino that pushed down all the other dominoes. And I'm a big believer, as I know you are, author of the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto, which, guys, we're going to talk about that, but links are in the description because Dai, this is his arena, just one of his many arenas. But his main focus is creating a great lifestyle so you can feel good about yourself, which will help you in your professional pursuits. It will help you in your personal pursuits, all these things. But my mentors at the beginning were virtual. So I would read sales books. And when I started reading sales books, that is what propelled me from just above average to world class, where people were like, how are you doing all these things differently? And I was like, well, these aren't my original ideas. I literally read a Zig Ziglar book, or I read a Chris Voss book, or I learned this from Grant Cardone, or I heard this cool thing, and I would apply it and I would use it. So your mentors don't have to be physical, and you don't have to model people who are physically around you. You can look to virtual mentors. But again, you'll get to a certain point where then a physical mentor will likely appear for you.
That's right. Oh, gosh, that was so well said, Brendan. I couldn't say any of that better. That was just spot on and true because, you know, as much as I had the role models, I also knew it was something that I wanted to excel in. I'm the kind of person that I don't like doing things half-assed. Yeah. You know, I don't. Like, what's the point? Like, it's because I think it's because, again, at 15, I realized to make a lifestyle change, I had to fully embrace the new lifestyle. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I'll do this half-time. I was like, no, because I wasn't going to settle for half results. If that makes sense, if that lands, you know, it's like we have a certain expectation for certain results and we set ourselves in motion to try to achieve those results. But if we do it with half the effort, we can't be upset if we get half the results. Yeah. You know, and I think that ties into sort of work ethic, right? Commitment management, not time management, commitment management, managing where does our attention go, our energy flows, right? Like just riffing on what Tony Robbins and a lot of the other self-help gurus say, right? Like it's true. Where is our attention going on the day-to-day? So what you just shared, Brandon, is so spot on because it's those inputs that we control. What books are we reading? What videos are we watching? What conversations are we partaking in? Because all this feeds into us and it affects our perspective, not only on the world around us that we live in and hopefully thrive in, but also how we see ourselves in that world.
Yeah.
And so that self-education component is so critical, but it just takes a little bit of energy and a little bit of attention focused in the right direction. And do that a little bit every day. My goodness, a month from now, your entire life could be completely different. People are like, true. Oh, I can't change that quickly. And I'm like, yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. Like it can. That's all I can say, you know, because I've been down this path many times myself and navigated a lot of change myself. And I can tell you can. Yeah. And if you don't believe that you can, I believe that you can. And sometimes that's all you need is somebody else to tell you, you can do this. You can change. And that's where the empathy comes back. So just to tie it all together, that's that ability to be able to empathize where people are at and recognize, you know what? I get it. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy. But I can tell you right now, it will be worth it because you're worth it. And so if there's anything that anybody takes away from our conversation this last 2 minutes, I think is the gold between you and I, Brandon. You know, this is the nut, the crux of our conversation today. And but realize, everybody that's listening or watching this, you're in the driver's seat of your own life, okay? This isn't a driving Miss Daisy situation. There's not somebody behind the wheel guiding you and chauffeuring you around. You determine where you want to go. Now, of course, if you don't have a license, yeah, you can use an app like Uber and it will get you to A to B, but you still got to do it. You know, you still got to be there present for the journey. And that's where all the growth and the learning and honestly, all the fun happens too. So don't take shortcuts, okay? You know, just have fun and enjoy it. Because it just doesn't matter. Like, remember, Brandon, and I think we've talked about this in the past. It's like, if you knew that you were 20 workouts away from reaching that happy, healthy mindset, how quickly would you get those 20 workouts done?
Fast.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. It's like, at 20 workouts later, how much different do you think you'll feel from the time when you started?
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just so accessible. As soon as we start doing the new things, we start to experience new things, and we start to see a shift in our perspective and our relationship with self and everybody else around us. So my question to everybody is, why put it off? You know, like, why keep putting it off? Why procrastinate? Just start and see what happens.